Both are tsundere types, but why is Makise so much more beloved? She has even become the pinnacle of tsundere in the hearts of countless people. I've thought carefully about this question. Her charm probably never lay in the tsundere label, but because behind that label hides a complete and incredibly vivid person. Christina.
傲娇的底层逻辑是害怕真心被辜负，害怕主动被拒绝的防御型人格。但我们可以看到很多动漫里的傲娇角色，他们傲的表现经常是刻意的刁难，娇的表现又是显得很生硬的反转，仿佛为了傲娇而傲娇。人物
When a character's behavioral logic is the audience can see right through it at a glance. They're about to hand out sweet Kurisu's approach is different. She doesn't have excessive arrogance, nor does she deliberately act overly cute. Her pride comes from her innate talent and the self-confidence gained through her sweetness. Is the gentleness she shows after dropping all her defenses in front of you. All of this is tied to her upbringing. Kurisu's resume can be said to have a god-tier start. At age 2, she could easily do addition and fascinated by physics since childhood. She could read her father's published papers in elementary school and even discuss academic problems face-to-face with him. Later, she skipped grades and got to Chandria University. By 18, she already had a paper published, hailed by those around her as a genius. If I had her abilities, I'd be even more arrogant. For those sausages sold at 3 yuan for 1 or 5 yuan for 2, my noble I'd only buy 1. So what if she's a bit arrogant? This pride is also her academic confidence. In the Alpha World line, on July 28, 2010, Kurisu held a lecture on time machines in Aki. Okabe questioned her theory on the spot, claiming that a time machine could be built. Faced with such sudden questioning, if it were a stereotypical tsundere character, they might just mutter, idiot or moron, and turn away. But Kurisu relied on her solid academic foundation, calmly debating Okabe face to face, refuting his points one by one, until she completely defeated him. I feel this is also a crucial reason why Kurisu's arrogance isn't annoying, because she allows herself to be equally rebutted. Actually, this detail already starts laying the groundwork for her character development. She hated time machines since she was a child. On the surface, she considers it pseudoscience. The deeper reason is that the time machine is the culprit that ruined the relationship between her and her father on her 11th birthday. She used her self-taught knowledge to completely disprove her father's theory on the time machine. This sent him into a rage, completely shattering their father-daughter relationship. The time machine became a deep scar in her heart, and in existence, she firmly rejected. So when Okabe Rintarou showed her the experimental results of the claim there was a time machine, her first reaction was to refuse to believe it. She even ran out of the laboratory because her mind suffered such a massive shock. She might think, it's just a cold, rational machine? Then you're completely wrong. What truly elevates this character to God are the moments she drops her guard. Her gentleness is almost never expressed through words, but always through action. But after every gentle action, she is immediately pulled back by her rationality. However, this is fundamentally different from the usual saying no. A standard tsundere says no verbally, but desperately wants it inside. The audience can easily see through their little inner thoughts and find it adorable. Kurisu is truly hesitating, struggling, and convincing herself. I'm not doing this because I care about him. Her rationality tells her to keep her distance, to stay calm, and not to rely on anyone. But her emotions urge her to help, to stay by their side, and these two forces clash fiercely within her. And the external result is a Makise Kurisu, who remains stubbornly silent when the phone wave exploded. She was completely at a loss. Kurisu verbally claimed, I'm just curious about this scientific but ended up staying up all night to take on revising the theory despite being a scientist with outstanding talent, normally wearing a cold, sharp poker face. Deep down she hides a maiden's heart with incredibly cute, stubborn, and soft traits. She's clearly no longer a high school student. She still wears her custom-modified academy uniform, and when questioned, she boldly retorts, because it's cute. She's a severe internet addict. Although she tries to hide it normally, whenever she accidentally blurts out internet slang, she instantly blushes and argues stubbornly. Her cooking skills, putting shiitake mushrooms in apple natto, claiming it's to maximize nutritional value. Criticized by Okabe, she gets angry, turns around, and secretly tries to improve the recipe. These details might seem trivial at first glance, but in my eyes, this is her truest self once she sheds her academic camouflage. She isn't a flawless genius. She has minor flaws, and a bit of a stubborn temper. Once, for instance, when Okabe praised her experimental plan, she feigned disdain on the outside, saying, do you even need to say that? I'm a genius. But the corners of her mouth couldn't help but curl up. And inside, she was secretly so thrilled she wanted to dance. Teased by Okabe as celeb Sev and perverted genius girl, her dishonest embarrassment doesn't feel deliberately fake, but a natural expression of a making her incredibly endearing and helping everyone see appreciate the authenticity beneath her cold exterior. We often equate dear with weakness, thinking it's showing vulnerability. You can see a completely different interpretation of pride. For example, in the Alpha World, Kurisu initially despised Okabe's Chunibyo behaviors, even considering him a madman, and constantly arguing with him. But as they join hands in researching the kind of threat from CERN together and experiencing countless world line shifts, she gradually discovered Okabe's shining points, his persistence, his gentleness, and his sense of responsibility. She also gradually let go of her own pride, started paying attention to Okabe's feelings, caring for him in her own way, and supporting him in the later stages. She even actively played along with Okabe's Chunibyo antics, calling him Hawin and conducting what seemed to be the craziest experiments with him. The scene that elevated this character was on the legendary status, when Kurisu knew she would disappear due to the world line shift. Yet, she still chose to sacrifice herself, urging Okabe to go save Marie. Compared to other Tsundere characters, Kurisu's most unique trait is that she is not a character who clings to the male lead. She has her own independent thoughts, her own ideals and ambitions. Her growth doesn't rely on being saved by the male lead, but stems from her own persistent efforts. Her Tsundere personality is just a part of her, not her entirety. The romantic subplot is also just a piece of her life, not everything. She is Makise Kurisu, an outstandingly talented scientist, always clear-headed, kind-hearted, and incredibly brave. She's not merely Okabe Rintarou's Tsundere assistant.